Hi, and welcome to Art with Mrs. Torres. This week, we are studying dolphins because April 14th is National Dolphin Day. I love dolphins because they are such sweet animals. They are not predatory, they are kind, and there are many stories of dolphins actually helping humans. If you have ever been at the ocean and seen some dolphins swimming together, that's called a group or a pod of dolphins. Another thing that you might not know about dolphins is that an orca whale is actually a dolphin. I didn't know that. I thought it was a whale, but an orca whale is a large dolphin. So today I'm going to teach you some more facts as we draw about our beautiful dolphin friends. Well, let's get ready to draw our beautiful dolphin in honor of National Dolphin Day. So this photograph shows a dolphin jumping out of the water. I thought that would be a really fun idea to try to make our dolphin look like he or she is jumping out of the water. For today's lesson, you're going to need a piece of paper. Now you can use the paper that comes out of your printer, construction paper, any kind of paper you have around the house. You're going to need a pencil, a Sharpie marker, an eraser, and something to color with. I'm just going to be using crayons. But if you have colored pencils, you could use those also. So pause the video, gather those items up, and meet me back here. Welcome back. I'm ready to draw. I've got my pencil and my eraser. That's all I need right now. I'm looking at the shape of the dolphin, and doesn't he kind of look like the shape of a banana? When we draw our dolphin today, we're going to be making a rainbow shape and another rainbow underneath. But if you notice, it's a little bit more pointed at this end and a little bit more rounded at this end. So we're going to use our finger first and practice making a rainbow shape. And then another rainbow next to it. We're going to bring it to a point on one end and make it more rounded, like a circle at this end. We'll add the nose or the snout of our dolphin after we're done drawing our rainbow shape. So finding our center of our paper with our finger, we're going to practice making a rainbow shape. And we're going to take our pencil and we're going to make a nice rainbow shape. And we don't want to bring it all the way to the bottom of the paper because we have to save room for his tail. I'm going to make a round circle, kind of curved shape here. We're going to erase this line. So we want to make it a little bit lighter. That's going to be the front of the dolphin's head. So that's right here. And now we're going to make another rainbow shape that matches this one, but it's going to come to a point at the end. So it's a little bit more narrow or skinny at this end. So right here, what I'm going to do to help me remember that, I'm going to make a little loop right there. And when I bring this rainbow back, it's going to connect to that little hook right there. So I'm going to bring it following this shape all the way back and connect. Now, once I have it connected here, this helps me now to figure out where I want to put my fins, which are my dolphin's front fins right here. And his nose is going to connect from the bottom here. It's going to loop around. Doesn't this kind of look like a sideways letter U or a really long kind of curve? That's what we're going to draw here. So the front of our dolphin's nose, they call this a bottlenose dolphin. So I guess some people think this looks like the front of a bottle. I think it looks like a sideways letter U. What do you think? Kind of looks like a bird's beak too, doesn't it? Now, once you've made that curve shape, you want to make it wider here and more narrow here. So if you made your beak really skinny, the front of the nose really skinny like this, you want to make it a little wider. So you might want to make your line start a little higher on the head and come down and then erase this line. We're going to separate the beak and the front of the nose in just a minute, but first we want to get that shape down. Now the front right here of his head, this part right here is called his melon, like a watermelon. That part right there is called his melon. He has a little spot right up here, a little hole at the top of his head. That's where he breathes. And that is called his blowhole. So after we come up and curve around here, right up at the top, we're just going to make a little small smile up at the top. That's going to be his blowhole. And come back to my photograph here of my dolphin so you can see his mouth. Doesn't he kind of look like he's smiling? Look right here. Do you see that little smile on his face? Dolphins always look like they're so happy. So we're going to take the front of his mouth here, and we're going to bring it back and loop it up, and make a smile. Now he has a pretty long smile, so we're going to bring it all the way back, give him a little cheek, and then we're going to give him a happy little eye. So I'm going to go above his cheek right here, and instead of making his eye open, I'm going to make a little rounded curve like this for his happy eye. Now this fin back here, this is his dorsal fin. This is at the very back of his body. It's kind of right. If you notice the middle of his curve right here, it's going to be behind his eye. So we're going to come up here and make a swooping curve that goes back, almost like we're getting ready to draw another rainbow shape. And then we're going to curve it around on the end like this. And then we're going to bring it back this direction and connect it. So we're going to make kind of like the letter C. See how that kind of looks like we're making a letter C? Now your fin might be a little bit more skinny than mine. It might be more pointed than mine. It doesn't matter. As long as we have something that kind of looks like the shape on the back, everybody's going to know that you drew a dolphin. Now the front fins, these fins up here at the front, these are like our arms. And these fins right here, they help him swim. So what we're going to do is we're going to come to the front and we're going to draw right behind his face right here. We're going to draw a little bit up on top of his body. We're going to make a curve that goes down and out like this. We're going to bring it around just like we did here and just like we did here. We're going to make a small curve. And when we bring it back, we want his arm to be a little bit wider where it touches his body. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a mark to remind me how wide I want his fin to be. So I think that would be a good distance. Nice wide fin. And then I'm going to swoop it around and touch. Now, once I've done that, I can erase this line here in the middle of his body because his fin is in front of his body. Now, if you look at this picture, he has another fin behind him. So we're going to draw a second fin behind the front fin. So here's his first fin. And the other fin is going to be behind. So I'm just going to copy what I did here and just make it a little bit shorter than this one. Now up at the front of his head right here, right in front of his melon, right here at the front, he has a little wrinkle. So I'm going to give him a little wrinkle right there. Now the final part is his tail fin, right back at the back here. So in my photograph here, you can see a part of his tail fin. It's kind of tilted this way, so you can't see the whole thing. And it kind of looks like a rainbow coming off of the side here. So I'm going to draw one curve this way. Then I'm going to bring that rainbow through his body and bring it out the other side. And then I'm going to connect it by rounding the end here and rounding the end here, just like we did on those. And this time I'm going to bring it up to the middle, kind of looks like a leaf, and up to the middle here. When I'm all finished drawing my dolphin, I'm going to also add maybe some eyelashes. If you would like your dolphin to be a girl dolphin, you can, but you don't have to. And another thing I like to draw is a little line that separates the top of his body from his belly. The belly of the dolphin is a little bit lighter than the top of the dolphin. So I'm going to draw a little line right here It's going to stop at the fin, and then it's going to continue behind the fin here until it gets to the tail. Now I'm going to make this part of his body maybe a little bit darker than this part. Now I want you to notice the water that's splashing all around the dolphin. So he has jumped out of the ocean, and all this water is a big giant splash. So I thought it would be kind of fun to give him a splash around his tail. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to trace around my fingers. I'm going to lay my fingers down like this. So put your fingers on the edge of your paper like this. Make sure they're sticking out past the fin of your dolphin. And I'm just going to trace around my fingers. And then I'm going to put my fingers up here, and I'm going to trace them again. Now that's going to be my big giant splash in the ocean. Now the final part is to draw this line right here. This is called the horizon line. And all that means is it separates the horizon where the water or the land meets the sky. So here's the sky and here's the water. So we're going to draw a line that runs across our paper. So I'm only going to have to draw it a little bit right here. So I'm just going to draw a line that comes from here all the way across to the end. My splash is going to be in front of my horizon line. Okay, that was easy. We're all done drawing our dolphin. Now we're going to go and trace over our lines with our Sharpie marker. So I'm going to take my chubby marker. I'm going to put my lid on the back, and I'm just going to start to trace over all my lines. Now, as I'm tracing, the faster that you pull your marker, the nicer your little line is going to be. Now, if you're not using a marker and you are using a colored pencil, you're going to do exactly the same thing I'm doing, but you're going to use your colored pencil. Oh, don't forget that little blowhole up at the top. Now I'm going to get ready to trace my wibbly wobbly fingers for my splashes. Now, as you can see, I'm not exactly on my pencil line, and that is absolutely okay. Now, the next part, when you're done tracing, oh my goodness, I forgot my dolphin's eye. Now, when you're all done tracing, you could also add a few water droplets splashing around him. Now, I just made some little circles. So I just am going to go like this and make a few little random circles in the air, kind of like splashes. And then I'm going to take my crayon later and make a little few marks around him so it really looks like he's jumping. Now, when I'm finished, I'm going to close up my marker and I'm going to get my eraser and I'm going to erase my pencil lines. And now I'm going to get ready to color. So I'm going to grab my colors. I keep my colors just in a little box like this. You might have a nice crayon box filled with colors. And the first color I'm going to be looking for is gray. I'm going to see if I have a gray in my box. Now, you might not have gray, and that's okay. If you don't have gray, you can color with black and just color softly. I'm going to take my gray, and if you notice, the entire dolphin has a soft gray color to him. So I'm just going to take my gray crayon, and I'm going to color very softly in one direction all over my dolphin. And then when I'm done coloring gray all over the dolphin, I can go back in and I can take my gray and press a little bit harder around the edge if I want to kind of outline him with my gray. I'm also going to fill in that blowhole with a little bit of gray too. So once I've traced around everything with my gray crayon, if you want to do that, then we're going to switch over to another color. So once I'm done with my gray, I'm going to look now for a soft blue color. Now, I don't want to use the darkest blue in my crayon box. So I'm going to look around and see if I can get a little bit lighter blue. So of these two blues, this one's a little bit lighter. So I'm going to use this one. And I'm going to take my blue and put a tiny bit of blue on top of my gray. So let me show you that photo of the dolphin and you'll see why I'm doing that. You'll notice that he has a little bit of blue in his coloring. It's not just a flat gray. So I'm just going to very softly take my blue and brush just a little bit of blue over him, right on top of the gray. Now, when I'm done with my blue, I'm going to take my blue now and start to build up the colors in my ocean. So obviously, the ocean is water and the water has blue in it. So I'm going to scribble some blue and I'm going to go this direction, back and forth, all over the flat part of my ocean. I'm going to do my splashes later. So right now, I'm just going to color this direction. So once I've put a little bit of blue on my ocean, I'm going to take my blue now and I'm going to put a little blue, but only at the bottom of my ocean spray. So look right here, I'm going to be layering a bunch of different shades, but only at the bottom. I'm going to kind of leave it a little bit lighter at the top. So first thing I'm going to do is outline. Just like how we outlined with gray, I'm going to outline my wave with my blue, tracing around my little finger marks. And my fingers are probably bigger than yours, so your wave might be a little bit skinnier than mine. And then I'm going to take my blue and I'm going to scribble scrabble some blue right here at the bottom. Literally scribble scrabbling. I'm just kind of going like this. Now, once I'm done with my blue here, I'm going to color a couple of these droplets blue, not all of them, because I'm going to switch to a new color. Now let's go back to my photograph of the ocean. What's another color that you see in the ocean besides blue? Let me hold it a little closer. Do you see any green or turquoise in the ocean? I do. So I'm going to look in my crayon box for a color that's similar to this. Well, I've got some green. Oh, I have this light green too. I kind of like this one, maybe even better. And I might have a turquoise in my crayon box. I've got this color called blue-green. You might not have it. That's okay. Whatever you've got, try it. I'm going to try this light green and see if that makes a color that kind of looks like the ocean here. So watch what happens when I put this light green over my blue. Oh man, that's gorgeous. That looks just like this. I love it. I think I'm going to add some to the back of my spray, my ocean spray too. And maybe put a little bit of green in a couple of these water droplets. So I also have this dark green. I might layer a little bit of this dark green in. I don't want my water to look like it's filled with moss, but I'm going to put just a little bit because there is some green in the ocean from the seaweed. I love it. So when I'm all finished with those colors, if you have a blue-green, which is just a combination of blue and green, you can use that color also. So I'm going to try that color and see if I like that one. And then I'm going to use that color to fill in a couple more of my water drops. Now, if you're thinking your picture's all done, you can stop here. But for one more trick, I'm going to show you a little bit more shading. So you're going to look for your black crayon, and I'm going to show you how to shade a little bit more in your picture. Now, you don't have to do this, but if you'd like to, we're going to go in and make this fin a little bit darker. So I'm going to take my black now. I'm not going to color hard. I'm going to color really softly and just put a little bit of black crayon on that back fin. You notice I didn't color it solid black. I just put a little bit of black crayon over the gray. Where else is it a little darker? It's a little darker here at the back of his body and at the bottom of his tail. So I can take this color and make it a little bit darker at the back. And a little bit darker at the bottom of his body. So I'm going to color very softly. I'm not coloring hard. Where else do you see it a little darker? Doesn't it look like the top fin is a little darker than the top of his body? So let's take our crayon up here and very gently color this a little bit darker. I'm not coloring hard. I'm just almost tickling the paper with the crayon. I also see a little bit of shadow right here where his front of his face is. So right here where his wrinkles are, I'm going to make those a little bit more dark and a little bit darker right here on the top of his mouth. Oh, don't forget to darken his blowhole too. Now, at this point, I think my picture looks pretty good. I think I want to give him some motions like he is really jumping. So I'm going to switch and find one of my blue crayons. I don't know, maybe this one. And I'm going to give him some swoosh, 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 swoosh marks because he is jumping out of the ocean. Well, did you have fun today learning how to draw our dolphin? In honor of National Dolphin Day, I had fun teaching you. I would love you to send me a picture of your drawing. Have your parents take a picture of your artwork and send it to rtorres@lcusd.net. And I'll see you for our next lesson. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.